Deputy Clare Daly.
No surprise for who got the short straw on this one, and a lot of the points have been made, but I do think it's good that the Minister has recognised the enormous cost of school books. I do accept that this is an attempt to address it, but you have recognised that it's unfair, and I think the sort of cry from this side of the House and your own backbenches is it does need to be looked at. I would think when the figures are looked at, you will find that some of the schools that had the least pressure because of affluence or whatever to introduce such a scheme use their voluntary fundraising efforts to maybe bring in other measures which now give them an advantage, and they are going to be the very beneficiaries of this scheme. Just two aspects of this. Have you given any consideration to the idea of some system of mandatory enforcement of this, and where do you see the increased use of iPads and moving away from actually written books? Some new schools in areas which are, say, in Lusk, in my own area, one secondary school, and parents in that school, the one school, are being asked for €700 for an iPad system starting up, which is obviously cheaper in the long run. But could you look at the whole book rental, to look at e-books and that whole technology as part of your review? Because I think schools are moving in that direction, and it is enormously costly, particularly at the inception.
Final reply,
I want to thank the Deputy for her comments, and in deference to time, and the answers have been given already, but I will respond to the last point that Jim made, which I think is very interesting. We're in the middle of a transition from paper to electronic format, and many schools, and I would encourage them, or we're going to try and coordinate it, that because the universality now of the different kind of systems, that you can have an iPad, different kinds of pads, and they're compatible in terms of taking information, which wasn't the case in the past, where, for example, you had Betamax and VCR in terms of the, or not VCR, the other type, the EHS, in terms of the platform. There is an argument at post-primary level for an electronic storage of an awful lot of the material that young students are using, with extraordinary savings in terms of money. My own view, as a non-professional educationist, I think young infants from 2, 3 and 4 and up to the age of 10 should feel the texture of a book, and the printed word, and the reading and the writing and the physical holding of it. It's more than just about getting information. It's about getting used to the format that an awful lot of information is going to remain in situ for the rest of their lives, even though they will be highly engaged in digital learning as well. And that's why the book rental scheme at primary school level is so important. And I will deal with the issues that you've raised and that I've answered to the other deputies.